I've traveled to the planet Earth to understand a concept you call to kill. What does this mean? You stupid clown. This is the 100th episode and you still haven't learned the word kill? I told you this show is biased left. The host never learns anything. To kill is to cause the death of a living entity. For example, Donald Trump just killed one of Iran's senior generals, Qassem Soleimani, while he was on a diplomatic mission. He was not on a diplomatic mission. Just because he's named Soleimani doesn't mean he has a soul. You might as well name him Mother Teresa. Conservatives are skeptical of climate change, but when it comes to military intelligence, they're gullible. So Iran should weaponize hurricanes. This way, you won't believe shit. How do you pronounce his name? Qassem Soleimani. You gotta add that phlegm, which is appropriate because when I hear about him, I want to gag on my own vomit. You off imbecile, you're mispronouncing it. It's Soleimani. With intelligence like this, how do we know Trump killed the right guy? Where did they kill him? The US killed him at Baghdad's airport. Well, at least Muslims got a taste of their own medicine. Increased security at the airport. And Soleimani was not a nice guy. He was the leader of the Quds, a unit of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Why is it called a Quds Force? Well, Quds is the Iranian nickname for Israel, so this group is named after the land they plan to liberate. So Israel is fighting a group named Israel. Perhaps the Hollywood Jews don't hate Muslims, they just hate copyright infringement. That's how Trump should have killed him. This drone is here to tell you that you are not authorized to reproduce Israel's work. Iran has a history of threatening Israel. Like President Ahmadinejad said he wanted to wipe Israel off the face of the map. That was an issue of the Parsi translators misrepresenting him. He meant metaphorically that Israel is unnatural and it will not last. I'm confused. Alice, can you explain that statement?
I am Alice, the alien's robot assistant. My database shows there's many different journalists offering translations from Farsi to English of what he said. According to a translation from The Guardian columnist Jonathan Steele in 2006, he did not say wipe Israel off the map. But instead it was, quote, "This regime occupying Jerusalem must vanish from the page of time." And the same metaphor was used not just Israel, but the Soviet Union and the Shah. So it was meant in a conceptual way.
Come on, vanish from the pages of time? That sounds like a slow process. They still have history books on the dinosaurs. Well, Ahmadinejad denies the Holocaust, so maybe he would have learned his history a little better if he hadn't erased so many pages from the books of time. Iran does not want to annihilate Israel or the United States. That's just the way that neoconservatives spin the situation. They could paint the Beatles as a terrorist group because they're singing about a yellow submarine weapon. The real issue is that John Bolton now wants to testify against Donald Trump at the impeachment hearings. Sir, John Bolton is about to testify against you. Not if I bomb Iran. What time is he supposed to testify? 3 p.m. We bomb him in self-defense at 2 p.m. You might want to start at 1:30. He's got nothing else going on in his life, so he'll probably show up early. But now, only because of Trump's strike has Iran promised serious retaliation. Wow. What severe retaliatory actions have they taken? They struck the Federal Depository Library website. I didn't even know this website existed, but honestly, I'm happy they took it down. It's socialism. Hopefully they'll strike the Social Security website next. But just think, if they took down the Obamacare website, we'd never even know. Do you realize who Iran was fighting in Iraq and Syria? ISIS and other Sunni terrorists. This does nothing but help them. We're ISIS insurgents for Trump. Make jihadists great again. Soleimani has been responsible for many American deaths, including an American contractor that recently was killed. Not only do you have no proof of this, you won't even release the name of the American contractor. How does that help his security? He's dead. When Trump entered office, there was no problem with Iran. There was no crisis. Instead, they were agreeing to Obama's nuclear deal and were ready to join the international community. Instead, Trump gave in to AIPAC, Israel's lobby, because they're promising him re-election. And Americans are gonna die for this? Mazel tov! Me and the Saudi are eating matzah to celebrate Trump's policy of America first! Yeah! I hate Iran so much, motherfuck, I'm eating matzah. You stupid ass clown, back when Trump pulled troops out of Syria, Democrats cried out, "Oh, how can he abandon our allies in the region?" But now when he strikes Iran, you cry out, "He's a warmonger." In that case, Soleimani could have gotten out of this by shouting, "Wait, don't shoot! I'm here to help the Kurds! Democrats won't mind if there's American casualties as long as they're not Kurdish." And the main issue with Barack Obama's deal with Iran is that they were still able to have civilian nuclear power, and they were funding proxy groups like Hezbollah. Iran offered an even better deal to the George Bush administration, and the media never covered it. They offered to completely stop all nuclear power use, even civilian, and completely end all aid for Hezbollah's paramilitary wing, turning them strictly into a political organization. In addition, they offered to stop funding Hamas, and the Bush administration turned it down. Every whim of the United States, and the Bush administration still told them no. If they had offered an even better deal, their own people would question if they were puppets. Wow, now that Iran changed their flag, I hardly recognize it. Fuck yeah! Coming again to save the Well, how did that deal come about? Well, in the 1980s, Iran and Iraq had a war, which lasted 8 years and ended in a draw. And then in under 3 weeks, the United States invaded Iraq and knocked down Saddam Hussein's statue in Baghdad. In under a month, the US just defeated the regime that Iran was fighting for 8 years. So when they saw that Saddam statue fall, they went, "You know, we don't need nuclear power. We love America." Nothing brings out love for America like looking at that Saddam statue. In fact, at ball games, they shouldn't sing the national anthem. They should knock down statues of Saddam Hussein. Then the rest of the Iraq war didn't go as well as the Saddam statue. Now the Ayatollah and Hezbollah are happy that they get to keep their weapons. If they ever were to develop a nuclear ballistic missile, they should name it after Dick Cheney. I'm gonna tell it to you without the colored hats, without the alien glow. This is almost the 100th video, and I've spent thousands of hours reading, writing, and filming these videos. I made so many videos on Iran because I knew the day would come when we would be faced with potential war. And if we don't learn the history, then we're gonna be doomed to repeat it. But I can't do this without you. Without your help, these videos are just a file on my computer. And many years in the future, when some other kid is reading in the library about what happened today, does he read that it was a war? Or did people learn